Welcome to That's Based. I am your host, as always, Caleb Salvatore, reporting from somewhere underground. We're laughing our way through the end of days. Stockholm Mia, the red face of white supremacy, is here with me in the room as well. So this is a little bit different of a show today. We've got an announcement to make regarding, I guess you could say, the future of the show. We're not canceling it, but we're not continuing it in the degree that you all know and maybe love. I don't know. I don't know why you would. But so I'm gonna break it down to you like this, guys. We're done with the political rage shit. I can't partake in that anymore. I can't partake in that as a consumer or a producer of it. Now I haven't changed any of my views. I still believe essentially the same things. The thing is, if we're gonna run a successful show, I have to consume an amount of media and expose myself to an amount of garbage every day for hours a day that's honestly just not healthy for any human brain. So I'm not going to do that anymore. We do okay, but we don't have enough viewers or make enough money to justify my continuing to do that. If you've listened to this show for a long time, you can probably tell that I'm just burnt the fuck out. Just burn out on talking politics. It is not something I want to do, at least for the foreseeable future. Now, we're not trashing the show. We are going to take a little bit of a hiatus here. And we've got some plans for what we're going to do with it in the future. I haven't ironed all those out yet. I still got to talk to some people and figure some technical shit out. But it's really just, guys, and I'm going to encourage all of you to do this too. Stop buying into the rage. Stop doing it. Stop. The cycle has to die. This thing where people just get riled up and consume constant media. Our brains were not meant to do that. All right. Our brains were not. Here's how, and I'm not a psychologist, but I saw someone explaining this perfectly the other day, so I'm probably going to butcher it. But I saw someone explaining the way that the online political culture works is your brain is constantly in fight or flight mode. You are constantly either looking to dunk on somebody else or looking for someone else who could potentially dunk on you. And our brains weren't meant to do that. This is also uncharted waters. I mean, look, we've talked about the way that smartphones and social media have really amplified some really toxic habits. Things like pornography, things like gambling, things like online political debate. Well, porn, gambling, and politics have always been around, but they've never been around to the point, or they've never been abused the way they are right now. You've never seen it just fry any of those things fry so many people's brains the way it has right now. And I think that smartphones and social media have played a massive role in that. And I think if we're going to beat this starts with you. If you've got young kids at home, and a lot of people don't want to hear this because everyone wants some monolithic government to come in and wave a magic wand and fix everything. But really, this is going to get solved at the micro level. This is going to involve you not allowing your children to have social media. Yes, that may be a difficult conversation. That may draw them the ire of their peers or whatever the case may be. But if we want, and I think you're already starting to see that, there is some promising developments with younger parents that we're seeing. So that's where this is really going to start. I'm going to tell you right now, when we went to, I'm not going to tell you where we were because I don't want to dox anybody, but when we were out of town over the week of Christmas, I said, I'm not going to do any social media. Now, I cheated a little bit. I read some sports stuff, but I didn't do any of the political shit. I didn't check Twitter to see what had blown up in the world and what random internet politics person A said about random internet politics person B. And you know what? The world went on without me, Caleb Salvatore, knowing what random internet politics person A said about random internet politics person B. I know it was really tough for me to come to terms with when it happened, but it did move on. And I'll tell you something else that happened is my brain felt like it was healing. That's the only way I know how to describe it, because I wasn't constantly being exposed to rage bait for a week. And then, of course, we got right back and started doing the show and doing research for it again. And, it just all kind of went back to shit. So that's why we're stepping away from politics. Like I said, I still believe the same stuff. I do. I think there's a lot of people on both sides for different reasons who have an incentive to continue to stoke the flames, though. And I'm not going to be a part of that. That's the difference. I think there's people on the left that genuinely do want to destroy this country. And they're riling their base up because that's how they want to defeat it, or because that's how they want to do it. They want to topple it from within. And I think there's people on the right who are incentivized, whether it be for clout or for money or for both, to tell people that things are worse than they are. I'm not saying that there aren't problems in the world. I'm not saying there aren't problems in this country, and I'm not saying you shouldn't pay attention to them. I'm saying you shouldn't let them consume you. Yes, there are, like I heard on a podcast not too long ago, somebody said that nobody under the age of 40 is going to be able to, or under the age of 30 is going to be able to purchase a home in this country, which is a ridiculous thing to say. It's a ridiculous, absolutist, black and white thing to say. It's not even remotely close to being true. I bought a house before I was 30. Are things perfect? No. Have things been skewed away from from the younger generation? Are they going to face new challenges that some of the older ones didn't when it comes to the economy or home buying or jobs or whatever? Yes, of course it will. But every generation has those problems. The difference is the past generations didn't have it amplified and thrown in their face every single day of their lives, 24/7, nonstop. And that's where we get into the problem with politics being so addictive. When we talk about porn and gambling and politics and why those addictions have just exploded in the younger generations, but we've seen alcohol and drugs and tobacco decline, it's because those three things are accessible 24/7 on demand. You can get it whenever. So I'm pleading with all of you to take a break as well. Don't be totally uninformed, but take a break from it. Like when I saw this shooting, and that's the other thing, is the concept of nuance is totally dead. When I saw this shooting in Minneapolis, the second one, where these ICE agents shot this guy, first off, I didn't know what to make of it, but everybody had a hot take. Everybody on both sides had a hot take. And everybody, specifically people on the left, were told that if they didn't have their hot take out in whatever the pre-approved amount of time was, that they were just privileged and they were standing idly by while the Nazis terrorized our streets. It's crazy to me how people can see the same video and one person sees a domestic terrorist get put in his place and rightfully put down by ICE or Border Patrol agents, and then the other person sees a literal Gestapo executing a guy on the street from the same video, and there's no room for reason from either of them because they're both so extreme. I'm not going to get into how I feel, but it's really irrelevant. And guess what? It's irrelevant how you feel about it, to be honest. There are a lot of things that matter in this world, and there's a lot of things that we can control in this world, but there are very, very few of those things that are mutual and meet up together. And I think those are the things that you should focus on. Sometimes, like when those videos came out and everybody was pressured to have a hot take, because that's the other problem. The other problem with this culture right now is that you've got to have a hot, often uninformed and uneducated, because you don't have the entire picture, take on every bit of news that comes out. So when you saw this video of the ICE guy, I went, wow, that looks bad. Let's wait to see what other information comes out about this before we form an opinion. I'm sure the truth is somewhat in the middle, and that was not acceptable to a lot of people. Here's the thing, guys. Do you remember those, like, when you'd take a math test in school, and it'd be every now and then you get like a multiple choice question, and one of the possible answers was there is not enough information to solve this problem. They weren't doing that to teach you random math facts about how many apples that Johnny had and he gave them to Susie or whatever. That's not what they were doing. This is one of the few things the public school system actually got right, besides the MK Ultra programs they had me in grade school, which maybe I'll tell that story another time. But true story, I was in those things you're seeing on TikTok. that are going around? You know what I'm talking about? I was in those programs in school. They would pull me into a room and play a little beeper sound. I don't know. I'll tell. Maybe I'll tell the story another time. But so they weren't having you solve those problems because they wanted to teach you random math facts. They were having you solve those problems because they wanted to teach you how to look at a situation that sometimes there is not enough information available for you to form an educated opinion. And when you just guess and try to answer it without all the information, a lot of the time you end up getting it wrong. Okay? Sometimes the smartest person in the room, a lot of the time, is the person who's willing to say, I don't know. Doesn't mean I'm never going to know. Doesn't mean I don't want to know. It means I don't know the answer to that question. I used to be at it doesn't matter where it was, but this was like a decade ago. I worked at a retailer and I was in charge of hiring entry-level positions. And I remember one of the questions I always used to ask was, why do you think Rome fell? And I had these two women come in for interviews back to back. And I asked them the question, each of them. And the answer tells you a lot because you'd get one of two answers. You'd get someone who would try to bullshit their way through the answer that clearly didn't know what they were talking about. Or you'd get someone that would just say, I don't know. And every time I would hire the person who said, I don't know. Why, you ask? Because that person was someone I knew I could trust to come to me when they didn't have the answer to something rather than just guessing and creating a bigger mess for me to go back and fix. Life is like that too. There is a whole lot more gray area out there than a lot of people want to admit. And I think that's a real important thing for people to get to the bottom, or excuse me, I think that's a real important thing for people to remember. But yes, so we are going to be taking a break. We're not going to, when we're back, we're not going to be doing politics anymore. I know there's some of you that just like me. I don't know why, but you like to listen to me. So when we're back, we'll have something for you guys. Those of you that are just in it for the political content, I hope you take what I actually said into consideration and you strongly consider turning the temperature down in your own lives. Not contributing to the rage cycle as a consumer or a producer, at least not to the degree you are. I'm not saying tune out totally, but I am saying take a step back. I'm not saying that the threat that I've spent the last 4 years telling you about doesn't exist. In fact, quite the contrary. It's never been more clear to me that it exists. I just think the way we fight it is different. I think I was mistaken in the way I tried to take it on. I've said since we started this show that if you really want to fight the evil that is consuming this country, the best way to do it is to get right with God. It's to raise your family and make your money. That hasn't changed. I still think that's the best thing you can do. Like I've said from the get-go, this is not going to be solved with an election. This is not going to be solved with a civil war or anything like that. This is going to be solved by you raising your family not to be like these idiots. And I thought for the longest time that the best way I could do that was to sit here into a microphone a couple times a week and yell at everybody that was the way to go. Well, the message has been received. I hope you've all heard it. It's my turn to go do that now. Mia, you've been quiet. Do you want to add anything?
I don't know.
Nothing to say?
No.
Are you sad?
Kind of.
It's kind of sad. I mean, it's like when it's like when you get a puppy. You're not expecting it to be. You're not thinking about, oh, one day you're going to be 15 with dementia and arthritis. You know what I mean? Like, it's like,
okay, way to compare it to that.
I mean, that's what you do. You started the show. You're never thinking about when it's going to end or anything like that, or if it's going to end. But, in the back of your mind, you always know something's going to come along, right? It's like it's either going to blow up and be huge and I'm going to get assassinated on a college campus in Utah, or for one reason or another, we'll stop doing it. We didn't get assassinated. You should be thankful. This is the better option of the two. It's no, I should listen. I truly do enjoy everybody who's listened and been supportive of the show. You guys are great. I will keep the Facebook group open. I like interacting with you guys. You're fun. And March or April, we'll have something in store. Like I said, I got to talk to some people, figure out exactly what it is we want to do. I really do enjoy doing unsolicited advice. I would like to incorporate that in one way or another to the show. I'm not sure what platforms we'll be airing on. That's one of the other things I have to figure out. But we are stepping away from the political game for a little bit. Now that doesn't mean. Now, when I say political, I mean the political media game. I'm because that's my chief concern. Like I said, I still feel the same way I do about everything. If there's some internal baseball, local politics stuff going on behind the scenes, I'll probably still be involved in that to some degree. We're still doing the roast battles on March 14th. That's not going anywhere. It's just that, guys. It's just I need to heal my brain. This is I am not um with the constant exposure to that stuff, I am just not the person that I feel like I could be. And that's what that's what it boils down to. I am a whole lot less productive in a lot of other elements of my life than I would like to be. And I know that that is a significant contributor to it. So, sorry, did you want to add anything else? I totally stole your spotlight right there.
No,
Nothing?
no, I don't know.
Oh,
I
no
don't know.
no send off or anything like that?
Just be glad you're not gonna hear my voice anymore.
Oh yeah, I'm sure they're glad. Yep. Mia will be taking the show over full time while I'm gone.
I will be.
2 hours a week talking about politics. No, I'm kidding. No.
2 hours, just pure Taylor Swift.
Yeah, that's perfect. Honestly, probably more productive. That's no, but seriously, guys, it's focus on the people in your lives, focus on your community, the people around you that you can see, smell, and touch. Don't smell them though. That would be kind of weird, but you know what I'm talking about. Focus on making those things better before you worry about what's going on in a country halfway across the world or another city. And you know that's the other thing is when you look at some of this rage bait and sensationalism is yes, there are parts of cities that are absolutely out of control, but for the most part, they're not. Like the people in the suburbs of Minneapolis don't give a crap about what's going on downtown. In fact, they probably despise it. You know, there's certainly some problems, but they're not everywhere. The world is not that bad. Go to a Super Bowl party next weekend and put the phone down and just hang out with your friends, and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. And stop, for the love of God. I know I know you guys are going to go find someone else to listen to for your political takes. For the love of God, don't let it be Candace Owens. For God's sakes, please don't. Please. That's the only thing I'm asking of you. Find anyone else but Candace Owens. That's been our show. Follow the That Space with Caleb Salvatore Facebook page and group, and we'll have updates on what we're going to do there. Like I said, it'll be at least a month or two before we do anything concrete because I've got some foundation that I have to lay. But we will see you guys when we see you. Come to the show on March 14th at Beach House Bar and Grill. Cheat on your taxes, not your spouse. You say it. Last time.
Stay based.
Stay based.